Hello there. Trust you're doing real good today. You're welcome to the second class in our life class series. In the first class, we began to discuss upon the concept of life. In that class, we came to see how that there are two very important resources available to every human being upon the planet Earth. We said how that the second most important resource is time. And then the most important resource available to every human being is themselves, you. All right. We said so because you see how that time is void, how that time of itself might not have value, but it's you that in turn gives value to time. It's you that gives them worth to your time. All right. So we want to kick off from where we stopped the last time to see how that we can begin to employ these two resources. We begin to make proper use of this resource to bring about the necessary changes that we hope to see in our lives. But before I go further, you'd agree with me that there are many times that we have tried to make certain changes in our lives, and it seemed as though it was not just working. Okay, so you learn something new on how to make your life a lot more effective, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna start to do this from today going forward. So you start out with it, okay, and you do it for the first day, you do it the second day, the third day, but you find out as time begins to journey on, you find out that you're back to where you started from. And at such points you begin to say to yourself, well, I don't think this kind of a life is meant for somebody like me, or maybe there are just some people that are gifted in that direction or stuff like that. But the very first thing I want you to understand today is that there is nobody who is more gifted or special or born effective than other people. The simple thing is that some people understand that for lasting changes to be made, there is a proper sequence that must be followed. All right. Why some other people do not know this. So it seems as though they are struggling and they are going on and on in circles. Okay. So what is the first step to every lasting change? And I think that's where we'll begin today's discourse from. The very first step, and listen to me carefully right now, the very first step to every deep-seated, long-lasting change in anybody's life is order. Yeah, you heard me, order. Now, things like this are very simple and practicable. I don't know if you've ever been to a large piece of land that was intended to be cultivated upon. Okay, you find out that the first thing that the farmer would do, I remember when we were growing up, when we wanted to plant corn, I think I was in my SS2 then, wanted to plant corn on our plot of land. The first thing we did was not to make sure the land was fertile, or to sow our seeds, or to maybe put the holes in the ground or whatever. The very first thing we did was to get the land in order. We had to clear out the land. We had to remove the weeds. We had to set the land in order. And even the good book teaches us the same thing. You see, before God began to recreate the earth, the Bible tells us how that in Genesis, the earth was dark and it was void. It says darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was brooding over the waters. The Bible tells us that God said, let there be light. Well, many times we think that light was maybe the sun or this thing, but it would interest you to know, you could go back and study that God did not create the sun or the moon until the fourth day, meaning that what he did on the first day was to restore order. So you see, order is a very vital, in short, is the cardinal step to begin to create the necessary change that we want to see in our lives. So the crux of the matter is, how then do I begin to achieve order? How can I bring my own life? Now we're not talking about a farmland. We're not talking about maybe a God in the creation. We're talking about ourselves right now. How can I begin to bring about order in my own life? Well, I've outlined a few steps that we could take to practically bring about an order in life. Now, the very, very first step to bringing about order in your own life is to eliminate external noise. Eliminate external noise. What is external noise? Well, it's not the shouting of people around you. It's getting yourself to be in a place of serenity, whereby you turn out every form of distraction, and that would include your social media. Yeah, you heard me. You turn off the notification on your WhatsApp, your Instagram, your Facebook. Get yourself into a literary silent and a quiet place. I remember one time in my own life where I was encumbered with so many things. Okay, I was encumbered with my job, I was encumbered with my NGO, I was encumbered with graphics designing, branding, being a brand strategist, and then I was having some issues with my health and everything, and all these things were overwhelming for me. It got to a point where I said, I have to change all this. And what was the first thing I did? I checked into a hotel because I knew I couldn't achieve this at home. At home, everybody was going to be dead. There was going to be distractions. There was going to be noise. There's going to be the TV. There's going to be the radio. There's going to be my telephone. All these things were going to be distractions. So what did I do? I checked into a hotel and I didn't take any sophisticated gadgets with me. I just took my diary and I took my small phone and I went there, shut out every form of noise. So that is the first thing that you want to do. You want to put yourself in a quiet state externally. That's where you want to start out from. And then the second thing that you want to do, having put yourself into this state of quiescence, is to engage the power of self-awareness. And what simply is self-awareness is you asking yourself, who is in charge? All right, so self-awareness tells you to stand outside of yourself and look at yourself. Okay, it is akin to one of this concepts we call them metacognition. All right, thinking about how you think. All right, planning about how you plan. Okay, so it is you standing outside of yourself. All right, many times it will require you to actually literally close your eyes and then begin to x-ray your whole life. Let everything be laid bare before you, and you're doing this asking yourself one question: who is in charge? Now, the moment you're able to answer this question, who's in charge, it will take you to the next step, and that will depend on your answer. If you can touch upon the fact that you are in charge, you are the captain of your own boat, it will then lead you to the third and important step in setting your life in order, and that is unlocking the potentials of your true self. All right, so my mentor, Dr. Johnson, will say it is touching base with your inner rhythms. All right, so at this point, what happens is that you begin to see how the end that you want for your life. All right, you begin to consider how you want your life to really end up. Okay, that's what happens, and you begin to see that it helps you begin to see things that are necessary and things that are completely unnecessary. Now, I want to drop a caveat here. Now, because I'm giving these steps sequentially, does not necessarily mean that these things will happen in 1 hour or 2 hours. There are times it will take days. Remember, I said we're not here to just give some quick fixes or some band-aids. No, we're here to touch upon very important things that will help our lives journey in its best and highest use. Remember, so you want to begin to picture how that your life will be. I back to that same experience that I had when I checked into that hotel. I remember me closing my eyes, lying down on the bed, and I began to picture, if my life were to come to an end, what do I want people to say about me? What do I want my wife to say? What do I want my children to say? What do I want my friends to say? What do I want my church pastor to say? What do I want the community to say? What do I want people online to say? All right, I began to picture my life and see how the direction in which I wanted my life to journey. All right, so that's the question that you begin to, and you ask yourself at this level: how do I want my life to end? Once you can settle this, you get to that final It's just at this point your life is already in order. Let me put it that way, because at this point right now, you get to that stage where you do a re-evaluation. All right, you ask yourself, this is where I am right now. This is the current state of my life. Now I've been able to picture above how I want my life to end, how I want my life to go. Then you ask yourself, what do I need to do that will take me from where I am currently to where I want to be? This is the premise upon which progress can start. All right, so I want to go give a very quick recap. You want to eliminate external noise. All right, get yourself into a very serene atmosphere, and then you want to engage in self-awareness. Ask yourself, who's in charge? And then when you answer that question, saying that you are responsible for your life, what happens is that you begin to unlock your higher potentials. You touch base with your inner readings, and you begin to picture the kind of life that you want for yourself, how that you want your life to end, how that you want your life to journey. You understand what you want your life to be, your beginning with the end in mind. No, that's the same thing to say about God. He says God knows the end of a thing from the beginning thereof. That's why God does not make mistakes. That's why everything about God is just so perfect. He begins with the end in mind. And then you get to that point of holistic evaluation or re-evaluation, where you begin to say, this is where I am right now. This is where I want to be in my life. So what's the gap between both? What do I need to learn? Who do I need to meet? What do I need to let go of? All right. What do I need to change? Okay. Once you can get yourself into this point, into this state, then progress can begin. This is the Life Class. My name is John.